Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Pipe Report. So, crazy Aunt Maxine is at it again. California is a state that truly shocks me. Some of the things they do, I'm not saying all the people that live in California are bad, but when they elect people like Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Dianne Feinstein, Kevin De Leon, when they pass legislation decriminalizing knowingly and purposefully giving someone HIV from a felony to a misdemeanor, when they decriminalize child prostitution, so now if a child's underage and she's soliciting sex, she can't be arrested. When they are trying to criminalize pronouns, so if you use the wrong pronoun, you can get fined, and guess what? What happens if you don't pay the fine? Well, you face judicial proceedings. It kind of leaves a lot of questions in your mind. Do many of these people actually really want this stuff? Are they regressing to such a time where, I can go there, or someone can go there, and if they had HIV, they could purposefully give it to somebody, and they don't got to worry about being arrested with a felony. That's essentially murder. Attempted murder. Not anymore, though. So, when they elect people like this, it really baffles me. I don't understand how California can just kind of behave like this, and how people can actually want to live there. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are a lot of good people there, but it's shocking. But anyways, one of California's heroes, Maxine Waters, is once more completely showing her complete just stupidity and her ignorance and arrogance, and this woman is batshit crazy. And I mean that with all seriousness. I mean that from a place, I don't want to say a place of love because, well, that's not true, but I mean that from a place of compassion. Just like Nancy Pelosi. I think Nancy Pelosi is mentally ill. Like, literally mentally ill. And I think she should get help, like therapy maybe. Maybe go on some psychotropic medications or something. And I think Maxine Waters should as well. I think it would really help them. Because if you actually just listen to them talk, half the stuff they say doesn't even make sense. Just like they cannot articulate their words at all. But anyways, Maxine Waters, you all may remember her from not too long ago saying that the LA riots, as a response to Rodney King, was a good moment for the black community. A good moment for civil rights. Yes, great moment for civil rights, Maxine. Where 50 people were killed in those riots, where there was over $1 billion of property damage. But yes, that is good for civil rights. It blows my mind. But now, she went beyond herself. And now she is calling for people to essentially stalk those in the Trump administration. To stalk them, to criticize them, to insult them. To basically try to attack them outside of their work. Why? Because she doesn't like the policies of the Trump administration. Yes, Trump is president. You know what? I don't like that. So here's what we're going to do. Let's all get together and let's just completely stalk and try to destroy the lives of those that work for him. Yeah, that would show him. Honestly. You are a member of Congress, Maxine. You should want to debate policy. You should try to get Donald Trump to not be elected in 2020. You should try to win the midterms. You should campaign on policy and not on attacks and denigration. Weren't you the exact same one that criticized Donald Trump for doing this? I remember during the campaign, you talked about him so much, how despicable he was for acting the way he does. Then you go out and do exactly the same thing. And you are synonymous with Nancy Pelosi. She does that as well. And then you have people like Kamala Harris, who doesn't know what a judge does. If you want proof of that, there's videos on my channel I can show you. And then you have Dianne Feinstein, who said she would, if she could, take away every single gun in America. California is insane, but Maxine Waters is probably the cream of the crop, as they say. It is wrong. Maxine Waters, it could potentially be illegal even for you to stalk people like this, to incite riots. You are basically calling for a civil war. That's what you are doing. And at the same time, you are preaching about how it is Trump that is polarizing people. It is Trump that is separating people from each other, that is making people hate their neighbors. It is you. Do not be a hypocrite. But you are a hypocrite. You are a fool. And I don't know if you do that intentionally or if it's maybe some type of mental disorder that you're working through. And I'm serious about that too. It is quite possible that the reason she acts this egregiously is because she may be mentally ill. She's getting up there in age, so hopefully she's out of Congress soon, but I don't know who California is going to replace her with. I can only imagine, but let's go over some of the article here. On Saturday night, Congresswoman Maxine Waters encouraged the type of recent protests against President Trump as seen in several Washington, D.C. and Virginia area restaurants, saying that she has no sympathy for those who serve in the administration and that the public should turn on them and absolutely harass White House officials while they are doing normal everyday activities. She has called for President Trump's impeachment in the past, even leading chants at rallies saying, "Impeach 45, impeach 45. Yesterday, Auntie Maxine, as she is affectionately known amongst her fans, added her name to a list of growing Democratic officials who are calling for Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen to resign due to her handling of the child migrant crisis at the U.S.-Mexican border. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall Maxine Waters calling for Obama's impeachment. You know, Obama, he actually deported more illegal immigrants than Bush did, right? I wonder if she was against Bush. For some reason, I'm assuming she was. Maxine then went further, adding that members of the Trump administration who continue to serve and defend the president should be harangued at gas stations, restaurants, and while shopping at apartment stores. They know what they are doing is wrong, she said, and for that, the public should ridicule and protest them every chance they get. According to the scrutiny should be so bad that it forces officials such as Secretary Nelson to tell the president, no, this is wrong. I can't hang with you. This is unconscionable. We can't keep doing this to children, she adds. Yeah. As one activist named Ryan Knight notes, 3 separate White House officials were bombarded with chants by members of the resistance while they were trying to enjoy a meal out this past week. We, the people, are rising up. It's funny because Katy Perry, I started watching all of the election coverage channels. I watched like Time, I watched CNN, I watched MSNBC. I literally watched the whole election. I put it on 2 times speed to get it, quicker. It's like 7 hours long, but anyways. And one of them I was watching, I think it was Time's election coverage. It showed Katy Perry at the Clinton headquarters, and she did a speech. And in the speech, she was like, well, my parents voted for Trump, and, this is before they discovered Hillary was going to lose. This is when they all thought she was going to win, guaranteed. She was saying, no matter what happens, we have to come together. No matter who wins, we have to come together because we are a country first. We are Americans first. We have to come together. And then, after Trump wins, that very same night, Katy Perry on her Twitter, now I covered this in a video of mine back way when, on her Twitter said she called for a revolution since Trump won. The hypocrisy of that is overwhelming. And I bring that up because this is what we see people like Maxine Waters do. Their beliefs are only as strong as their political affiliation. So they believe something, but if they lose an election, all of a sudden those beliefs are out the window. But when it comes back around, then they believe it in again. It is immature. I mean, she's like what? 108 years old, 109 years old? It's time to act like it. You act like you are a teenager. You act like you were a preteen. You are 108 years old, Maxine. Time to act like it. I can't believe some people even want her to run for president. I would love to see that, though. That would be hilarious. But I mean this in all sincerity. If she would run for president, I think she actually might get really ill during the campaign. I don't think she could handle actually campaigning and going state to state. I think she would burn herself out. I think she would get sick. And that's not because she's a woman. I know during the election, I wish I could remember what organization it was on. There was a pundit on that said that during election night. Well, some of the sexist things Trump said, like Hillary gets tired. Well, obviously he said that because she's a woman, right? It's like, no. Hillary seems tired because she looked tired. She was always sick. She was always coughing. Saying someone is tired, saying someone gets tired from campaigning, and if they're a woman, that's not because they're a woman they get tired. I mean, they try to throw out these labels any which way they can. And it's just, they don't stick. But Maxine Waters, if she would try, it would not go good for her at all. It really would not go good for her. And her inciting this violence and these riots and trying to start this resistance to overthrow Trump, it's not helping anything. She can no longer say Trump is dividing America when she does things like this. She just can't. But she will. And people will eat it up. Because for some reason, she's like untouchable. People look at her and they see a leader. They see someone dedicated, someone intelligent. I don't see that at all. I see a sad, old, depressed hag who is trying to find meaning in life, who has failed at a lot of things, who's not as smart as she thinks she is, and she's trying desperately to prove herself wrong, to prove to herself that she is intelligent, that she can hang around, that she can discuss ideas with people. But she knows she actually can't. It's almost like she's playing a game against herself. She knows she can't win, so she's putting on an act. And sadly, people are buying it. And that's why they keep re-electing her into Congress. Blows my mind, but there's a lot of things that blow my mind these days. And I'm done.